Hello, everyone. I hope you all had a good Christmas, even it was a little bit quieter and a little bit different. I had a wonderful Christmas, and it's quite appropriate actually. We're just doing our RE Christmas unit, and I was blessed with a new grandson just 2 days before Christmas. His name's Leon, but it brought me in mind of the Christmas story and how much joy that baby Jesus brought, particularly to Mary and Joseph, but to many others as well. I was so lucky to be able to go up and spend a spell of Christmas with my son and his family because they're my sport bubble. And it was just wonderful. From running around with my elder grandson Jonah to cooking Christmas dinner for them, it was just so wonderful. It made my Christmas. And I thought, it made my Christmas having a new little one. But can you imagine how it must have felt for Mary and Joseph? Because their baby Jesus was even more special. He was the Son of God. He was the Messiah. He was the one that everybody had been waiting for. Let's just go now and have a look at what we're going to be doing today. So, why is Christmas a special time? We've done a lot about that in Advent, haven't we? What do you know about the Christmas story? If there's somebody there near to you, tell them about it. If not, think it in your head. Okay. Now, what do we do to mark this special occasion? Think about that Advent unit we did before we broke up. What do we do to make it special? I kind of gave a bit of a clue with what makes it special for me. It's being with family. And for me, being with family, it's sharing food. It's me cooking for them. It's me serving them, if you like. It's making them happy. But what's about you? What makes Christmas special for you? Don't tell me all about those new computer games or anything. Not interested in that. I'm not interested in the actual presents. What is really special about it? Some of the children in Teddington gave me some presents. And do you know what? As I opened them, there were some really lovely presents, and I'm very, very grateful for them. But the thing that made them even more special was the love with which many of them gave those presents. That's what makes it special. Right, let's go on. Now, our walk today is to understand and use Matthew's account of the Christmas story. Our steps of success are going to be to identify the main points of the Christmas story, to write open questions for characters, I'll come on to that later, and reflect on how the characters might answer. And so you kind of have to put yourself in their shoes, don't you, to be able to know how they might answer it. Let me read from Matthew, chapter 1, verses 18 to 25. And this is about the birth of Jesus the Messiah. This is how Jesus the Messiah was born. His mother Mary was engaged to be married to Joseph, but before the marriage took place, she became pregnant through the power of the Holy Spirit. Joseph, her fiancé, was a good man and did not want to disgrace her publicly, so he decided to break the engagement quietly. As he considered this, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream. Joseph, son of David, the angel said, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife, for the child within her was conceived by the Holy Spirit. And she will have a son, and you are to name him Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins. All of this occurred to fulfill the Lord's message through his prophet. Look, the virgin will conceive a child. She will give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God is with us. When Joseph woke up, he did as the angel of the Lord commanded and took Mary as his wife. And this is from Matthew chapter 2. And this is the visitors from the east. Who do you suppose they might be? Yes, it's the three wise men, the three kings. Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the reign of King Herod. About that time, some wise men from the eastern lands arrived in Jerusalem, saying, "Where is the newborn King of the Jews? We saw his star as it rose, and we have come to worship him." King Herod was deeply disturbed when he heard this, as everyone was in Jerusalem. He called a meeting of the leading priests and teachers of religious law and asked, "Where is the Messiah supposed to be born?" "In Bethlehem in Judea," they said, "for this is what the prophet wrote. And you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not least among the ruling cities of Judah, for a ruler will come from you, and who will be the shepherd for my people Israel." Then Herod called for a private meeting with the wise men, and he learned from them that the time when the star first appeared. Then he told them, "Go to Bethlehem and search carefully for the child. And when you find him, come back and tell me so that I can go and worship him too." After this interview, the wise men went their way, and the star they had seen in the east guided them to Bethlehem. It went ahead of them and stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were filled with joy. They entered the house and saw the child with his mother, Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasure chests and gave him the gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. When it was time to leave, they returned to their own country by another route, for God had warned them in a dream not to return to Herod. Makes you wonder why. He's the king. He had asked them to go back. Why do you think that was? If there's somebody close by, tell them. Tell them why you think they didn't return to Herod. There's nobody there, or nobody that can speak to you just now. Just think it in your head. Why on earth would they not return to this king? I bet they got good food and they got a warm welcome when they went there before, because they were important men themselves. Oh. Continuing on from Matthew, and this is the escape to Egypt. After the wise men were gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. "Get up, flee to Egypt with the child and his mother," the angel said. "Stay there until I tell you to return, because Herod is going to search for the child to kill him." That night, Joseph left for Egypt with the child and Mary, his mother, and they stayed there until Herod's death. This fulfilled what the Lord had spoken through the prophet. "I called my son out of Egypt." Herod was furious when he realized that the wise men had outwitted him. He sent soldiers to kill all the boys in and around Bethlehem who were 2 years old and under, based on the wise men's report of the star's first appearance. Herod's brutal action fulfilled what God had spoken through the prophet Jeremiah. "A cry was heard in Ramah, weeping in great mourning. Rachel weeps for her children, refusing to be comforted, for they are dead." and the return to Nazareth? When Herod died, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt. Get up, the angel said, take the child and his mother back to the land of Israel, because those who were trying to kill the child are dead. So Joseph got up and returned to the land of Israel with Jesus and his mother. But when he learned that the new ruler of Judea was Herod's son, Archelaus, he was afraid to go there. Then, after being warned in a dream, he left for the region of Galilee. So the family went and lived in a town called Nazareth. This fulfilled what the prophets had said. He will be called a Nazarene. No. So we got a question mark whizzing around there, because I hope you can think of lots of different questions going on all around your head. What are the most important parts of the Matthew's account of the birth of Jesus? Now, is it that he's actually born? Is it that he wasn't able to stay? Was it that he's born in a manger? Born in a stable and put in a manger? Was it about the wise men coming? What is Matthew trying to tell us about Jesus? What is he not trying to tell us? Let's think about this. So, Jesus was born in Bethlehem. The King Herod was really interested, and he called a meeting of the important people in the area, didn't he, in his kingdom? He got all the priests and leaders in. Why would he do that? I mean, there must have been hundreds of babies born in that area. Why is he so worried about this little baby? I hope you're shouting at me right now, because that will mean that you've got a good idea. Perhaps I'm missing something. So Matthew, then, he's trying to tell us that this baby Jesus is definitely important because the prophet said he was coming. Could be argued that I knew that Leon was coming because I could see that my daughter-in-law was pregnant. But this is it, you see. The prophets have been saying about this for a long, long time. The world had been waiting for, the Jews had been waiting for this Messiah to come, so that all those people that seem to have lost their way following God could start living as God wanted us to, because this Messiah, this baby Jesus, was going to show us the way. So what's Matthew not trying to tell us? Tell me. No, you're going to have to shout a bit louder. What isn't he trying to tell us? Well, he isn't trying to tell us that everybody went around their lives differently. Or did they? So what audience was Matthew writing for? We know that when we write for an audience. Was he writing for people right then? Or maybe he's writing for people like us now. It's a timeless story. It's a timeless recount. It tells of the importance of the birth of this baby. Right, so after reading Matthew's account of the birth of Jesus, what questions would you like to ask Mary Joseph and Herod. I would, if I were you, pause this now. I want you to write in your book some questions, only 3 or 4 really good questions. Maybe it might be that you decide to have one for each particular person, one for Mary, one for Joseph, one for Herod. Maybe you want to ask the wise men a question. That's okay. They're not down there, but if you really wanted to ask them something, that's okay by me. So put the date and world at the top of the page and write your questions down. Now, if I were you, I would write your questions down, leave a couple of lines underneath, write another one, a couple of lines spare, and so on. So just 3 or 4 questions. Pause now, and then press play again when you have finished writing those questions. And shall I start you off on one? What I'd really like to know is how Mary felt having lots of strangers come and visit her to look at baby Jesus. Didn't you think that was a bit odd? Wouldn't she have preferred to have a bit more privacy for a little while? We'll see. Okay, pause now. Okay, so you've written your questions. And now, of course, what we would do normally is I would have 3 or 4 of you sitting at the front, hot seating. Can't do that. But, I mean, if you've got an older brother or sister, for example, or maybe mum and dad want to join in, anybody. If not, you are going to imagine you are one of those people, and I want to answer your own questions. So imagine, you can do it if you like, you could actually get up and sit in a different seat. Imagine somebody's asked you those questions. So I'm going to be Mary just to answer my own question. So my question to Mary was, didn't you feel strange having didn't it feel odd having all these strange people coming in? Wouldn't you have preferred a bit of privacy? Excuse me a minute. I think I'm going to become Mary. Let me just play the part. So, Mary, how did you feel when baby Jesus was born and you had all those strangers visiting? Well, I knew the baby that I'd given birth to was a very special child, and that child was important to many people. In God's name, I wanted him to be worshipped, to be praised. People obviously wanted to come and see him. But I must admit it was very tiring, and I really would have preferred to have had a little bit of privacy for longer. But I am doing God's work just as my baby son will do when he grows up. Do you understand what I mean? That's the sort of thing, that's what we call hot seating. We try and get into a bit of character. It's like you had a blue scarf, wasn't it? Anyway, so that's what I want you to do. That's your task for today. Answer your own questions. 3 or 4 incomplete sentences, please. None of this really short questions. Answer it in detail. I answered my question in detail. I'd like you to do the same, please. Okay, I'll see you next lesson. Bye.